everyone. Welcome in. It is week 2, and you are watching Ask the Experts from FantasyPros. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Lauren Carpenter. You know me as Stepmom Lauren, and I am here with my fabulous co-host, Tara Roberts, at It's Tara Time. And we're going to be here with you all season long. That's right. Every Friday, we are coming to you to answer your questions, burning questions that you may have heading into your weekend matchups. But if you want to get your question answered, there's a few things that you need to do in order for us to find them, in order to be eligible. And the first thing that you need to do, go ahead and subscribe to all of our social media channels. That's right. Meaning, if you ask a question on Instagram, make sure you are following us on Instagram. If you ask a question on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. So obviously you have to have a question first. Make sure they're good so that we can help you with all of these questions. And also make sure, like I said, you're subscribed, you follow on those social media channels. You should be doing that anyway, but just make sure you are if you have not done so already. And also make sure that you use the hashtag #AskTheExperts. That's right. If you don't include that, it's very difficult for us to find your question. So make sure you use hashtag #AskTheExperts. You guys know the drill by now. I hope so anyway. If not, welcome into the show. We are going to be answering your questions, and let's get right down to it. We have Dakota Henschel from YouTube. Thank you very much for dropping us a question. But speaking of dropping, should he drop Le'Veon Bell or hold on to him? Tara, which one do you want to go with on here? Because for me, this is kind of easy, but what do you think?
So I do think that you should probably drop him, but there are certain situations that I did want to highlight where you can actually hold him. So like 12-team league, drop, unless it's like something with a drastically long bench. 14, 16, that's where you can start to look at, hey, you know, maybe there's an opportunity here because Harbaugh did say that all backs will be used now, and we did see in the back half that Tyson Williams kind of disappeared, so it's possible. It's probably not likely because Latavius Murray did look pretty decent enough to handle it on his own, but it's possible Le'Veon could actually step up and do something, so just hold if you're in a deep league.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. If you're a super deep league, hold. If not, you can drop him because I don't even think he's yet been activated from the practice squad. Devonta Freeman was, but Le'Veon Bell was not. So if you need the room to pick up some much needed players because of injury, you can drop him. Don't worry about it. I know that name Le'Veon Bell can be a little bit scary putting back into the waiver wire, but it's okay. It is okay. You have our approval to do so. All right, let's move right along to Frank Nunez, or Nunez, whichever you pronounce it, from YouTube. Also, he says rest of season. This is interesting. Ezekiel Elliott or David Montgomery? I want to pass this to you first because I know how much you love Monty. So
yeah,
hit me.
I wish he had answered it first, but no. Because I mean, I feel like you have to say Zeke because ultimately it's probably going to be Zeke, but I will make the case for David Montgomery because, as you said, you know, aside from my Green Bay Packers fandom, I'm probably the closest thing that you can get to a David Montgomery truther. So, and I do recognize that it was just a bad game script for Zeke. You're like, I'm not using that game to base anything off of. But let's look at Montgomery. I mean, come on, man. He did amazing last week when you look at what he was actually able to do with the amount of carries that he got and the fact that Damian Williams was actually fairly involved. He was on the field for a fairly decent snap count. He got 6 attempts for 12 yards, so that was not successful for Damian Williams. But if you look at David Montgomery, 16 carries, 108 yards, 6.75 yards per carry. He was a top 10 running back, got a touchdown, I mean, against the Rams. So I'm all in. I really think that this is a top 10 situation for him.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, because my ultimate answer is going to be Ezekiel Elliott here. But one of the things that I know Tara likes to bring up is in a vacuum, right? We're not in a vacuum in this situation because I think that both of these players can represent two different things on a team. And it just depends on what it is that you need or what it is that you're looking for rest of season. Because David Montgomery can provide you an incredibly safe floor. He has proven that, which disproves me because I was like, he's only good against bad defenses against the run. Well, they played the Rams, who are I'm sorry. Yeah, they played the Rams, the other team. Yeah. But they may go back to the Rams in a second. And he still did well with another running back who was involved. He still did well. He is going to be a very, very safe floor for you. And I'm not quite sure about his upside. I feel like that's a little bit capped, especially when Justin Fields takes over and he's going to be running a lot. So that's kind of my thing with David Montgomery, but that you may need that on your team. You may need to have that safety. But on the other hand, I think Ezekiel Elliott will provide a higher ceiling. So if you really do need someone that's going to give you a higher ceiling, then Ezekiel Elliott is going to be your guy. In week 1, they played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, in case you forgot, won the Super Bowl. They have a very good defense. They made the Kansas City Chiefs look like a peewee, it was bad. It was bad. So don't necessarily hold that against Zeke here, but I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer here. It's going to depend on what you need for your lineup. If you need safety week in and week out, I think David Montgomery is going to be your guy. But if you kind of want to swing for the fences and get a little nervous every Sunday or Monday or Thursday, whenever they play, then go ahead and go for Zeke there. So there's an argument for both sides for you on that Zeke one. I wish it was a little bit closer or easier, but it's not, as you said, Tara. It's close. It's a lot closer than people may think. All right, Moondog from Discord. Should he trade away Aaron Jones for Keenan Allen? What say you, my dear friend?
So no, I'll keep it short and sweet. We're talking about a top 5 running back and a top 15 wide receiver. So when you look at it that way, you kind of have to stick with Aaron Jones. I get that you're a little worried, but Green Bay just had some things going on. It's going to be okay. Sure, we'll talk about that more at some point, but yeah, he'll be fine.
I hear you here, and I agree. That's not a good trade. And another note that I will harp on all the time: when you want to trade a player away, never ever do it when their stock is at their lowest. Aaron Jones did not have a good day. Don't freak out, because it's the Green Bay Packers. They're going to bounce back and play the Lions. So if there's ever been a get-right game on both offense and defense, it's going to be this week against the Lions. So don't worry about it. But even if you did want to trade away Aaron Jones, you're doing it at the worst possible time. Wait until he has a monstrous game and then go ahead and make a move for someone that's in a higher tier than Keenan Allen. But that's for any trade question, because I've gotten a lot of trade questions about trading away people just because they had a bad game. Don't worry about it. Like you said, the Packers were still on vacay. That was what that was. But I'm not worried about Aaron Jones. I would not make that trade. I don't like that at all either. All right, dropping bombs. I love that name from Discord. For his flex spot, I like this because I'm going against my own better judgment here. But for his flex spot, should he go Tyler Boyd, Melvin Gordon, or Elijah Mitchell? And I'm going to go ahead and take this one first, Tara. I am going to go with Melvin Gordon. And I feel like people have accused me of being like a Melvin Gordon hater, and I'm not. I'm just looking at the whole situation. But when it comes to these 3 players, Tyler Boyd is dealing with the, monstrosity that is Jamar Chase, who, surprising, he can catch footballs. Weird. And also Tee Higgins, who had himself the game. So you're looking at a low-end wide receiver 3 here with Tyler Boyd. He was great last season. He was great the season before. I love Tyler Boyd. But in this case, I don't like that when you have other options. And I know everyone scrambled to the waiver wire to pick up Elijah Mitchell. And I don't think that was a bad move. I was encouraging it. However, Trey Sermon will be activated, and Kyle Shanahan will do Kyle Shanahan type things. So starting Elijah Mitchell this week may not be the best interest for you and your team. So in this case, I'm going to go Melvin Gordon. What do you think?
Ooh, yeah. So I was one of those people who did jump to the waivers and go all in. And I didn't get him.
15 leagues, I didn't get him. 15 leagues, I didn't get him. I was like, what is this catastrophe?
Only one. And then another, I was outbid by literally 3% fab. It was heartbreaking. But anyways, I have to agree with you there. I do like Elijah Mitchell. I like the talent, and I've kind of been a little bit on the fence with Melvin Gordon, but what really does it for me is the fact that they are facing the Jaguars, who conveniently gave up all kinds of touchdowns to literally every Houston running back that is on the roster. So I think that it's going to be a fantastic week for Denver running backs. I'm good with Melvin Gordon. I'm good with Javonte Williams. And so for sure on this one, it's definitely Melvin Gordon for me.
Love it. Love it. Okay. And moving on, Storm22, also from Discord. He is solid at running back. Does trading away Elijah or Eli Mitchell for Michael Thomas make sense? And I am ceding the floor to Tara on this because I have a lot of bitterness and resentfulness when it comes to Michael Thomas. He has burned me. It hurts my soul. So I feel like I am too close to this case. I must step away. So Tara, I am giving this question all to you. Go for it, girlfriend.
I'll take it. I am unscathed by Michael Thomas, so
I am not burned.
Honestly.
Flames on the side of my face.
But yeah, I mean, so I love this question, and Honestly, I thought long and hard about it because I really wanted to make sure that I gave the right perspective on this. And the conclusion that I came to is that I actually really do think it's actually a sneaky, very slick move. First of all, let's talk about I'm solid at running back. So my solid at running back is that you are 3 deep. You've got your 2 studs, it's probably, maybe it's Alvin Kamara and David Montgomery. Yeah. But, and then at RB3, you were able to snag somebody like Chase Edmonds, who appears to be working out in a very pass-happy, high-pace offense for the Cardinals. Or maybe Damian Harris that you drafted early and you got him before Sony Michel trade. Or maybe Jamaal Williams. So if you've got a RB3 that is actually a reliable RB3, yeah, for sure. I'm good with it. Go with it. It might not work out. He could, the injury could linger. He could be a little bit on the petty side and decide he doesn't want to come back after everything that's happened with the Saints. But if you're solid at running back, it's a risk that I think you could take when we don't really know what's going to happen with that San Francisco backfield. I mean, Lauren, you mentioned it, Kyle Shanahan, we can't trust the man. So, I mean, if you're going to try something, yeah, I think that Michael Thomas is a good one to go for. You could also maybe go with a cheaper option if you're on the trading path, maybe a Jalen Waddle or a Clay Chapel that has a little bit more upside.
Yeah, I hear you. This is why I had you answer it, because all I wanted to think was, no, don't put yourself into that heartbreak, Storm 22. Don't do it, because I fell for it last year and I didn't like it. So I'm glad Tara is here to talk you off of that cliff that I was about to walk you on. So there's that. There you go. There's your answer. And I think we have this one from Mamba from Twitter. I think we were both on the same page on this one as well. But I think I might have changed my mind. I don't know, but I'm going to let you answer this one first. Mamba from Twitter says he will get Hopkins and Brandon Ayuk, and he trades away Calvin Ridley and Trey Sermon. Should he accept that trade, Tara?
So I love the San Francisco aspect. We're getting to 90% of questions.
A lot of them, yeah.
I feel like it's an oddly even trade. I would not have thought that, but if you're fine and you don't need to hold on to Sermon in hopes that he's going to end up being the RB1 and you can take that risk. It's DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's going to be a fantastic year. He has obvious top 3 upside. Brandon Ayuk, I believe in the talent. Period. So for me, Kyle Shanahan, if I'm going to have to take the lesser of 2 evils, it's probably going to be Ayuk, because I believe that he'll push through that as long as he's healthy and gets the opportunity. He'll showcase it on the field.
Yeah, so I don't think it's even at all. I am heavily in favor of the DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Ayuk side, because I kind of had the same thing where I was like, this seems decent. Like, this is a solid trade. And then as I thought about it more, Trey Sermon, I doubt is your RB1, and I doubt he's your RB2. So if he is your RB2, then maybe, I don't know, but it seems to me like someone like Trey Sermon is probably going to be your RB3 or flex option. And in that case, I absolutely would take DeAndre Hopkins and Brandon Ayuk. Absolutely. I really like that side of it. And again, if you're weak at running back, maybe this is not the best trade at all, and maybe that's why you're asking, because the names Brandon Ayuk and DeAndre Hopkins are very hard to pass up. But I really like that wide receiver set there, so I hope that helped you out, Mom. But I'm going to take one more before I pass it off to you, Tara. Sam I Am from Twitter. What is Jamaal Williams' ceiling? Or can we feel good about rolling him out in our lineups? I'm going to take this one first as the Jamaal Williams truther. Jamaal Williams' ceiling is however tall Jamaal Williams can make his own ceiling. And one of the things I like about Jamaal Williams so much is that he may not have as high of a ceiling as DeAndre Swift does, because they're both there at the same time. What last week showed me is even with a, quote, healthy DeAndre Swift on the field, not getting any kind of a snap count or pitch count, which we were all worried about, myself included, they both did really well. In PPR, they scored over 20 points. So for me, that says that Jamaal Williams' productivity is not tied to DeAndre Swift. He can do that on his own. Now, if something happens to DeAndre Swift, then Jamaal Williams is going to be incredibly even more successful than DeAndre Swift is going to be. So I like Jamaal Williams. I have no problem starting him week in and week out because they were both very productive. And so that's kind of my take on Jamaal Williams. But again, I'm a Jamaal Williams truther, so I could be just way too invested in it. That's why you have both of us, to give you kind of competing aspects here. What do you think, Tara?
I can't compete on this. I agree.
Yes.
I can't even add much to it. I think you really nailed it. The wide receivers are just completely phased out in Detroit, which makes sense because they've got two fantastic pass catching backs. I think that easily Jamaal Williams will be seeing 7 to 10 targets a game, same range for carries, and with the way that they're going, that's enough for you to feel very comfortable rolling him out in your lineup every single week. So yeah, go for it.
All right, I like it. And let me take one more here. Manuel Alcio from Twitter. What is our panic meter on James Robinson? I'm laughing because my eyes are looking at the button and my hand is reaching for it. And then I heard the Trojan USC news and then I backed off. And then I heard Urban Meyer say, no way in hell. And now my hands are reaching back for the panic button. And I feel like I'm wrong on this, but I am slightly worried because he was not as explosive as I really wanted him to be. But I am I'm not panicked yet. I'm hovering because I really want to see how a few more weeks are going to play out before I officially want to hit the panic button and before the meter breaks on my panic meter. Tara, can you talk me off of a ledge here, or are you in the same scary boat that I'm in?
I can't talk you off of a ledge. I've got a panic button right off camera. And I'm going to press it.
We need one of those.
Boom, like just the alarm is sounding. I'm sorry. I'm like super panicked over it. Yeah. There is no logical explanation for what happened other than Urban Meyer is Urban Meyer. And that's the problem. There's no logical explanation with a lot of the things that Urban Meyer's doing. And he seems to really love Carlos Hyde. And he's very nostalgic here. Like he's remembering the good old days. And unfortunately, the team is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. I had high hopes because I love Trevor and I thought he could get through it, but I don't think that's going to happen. And he will be chucking the ball a lot. And unfortunately, James Robinson is a volume guy, and I don't think the volume will be there. So it's a big panic for me.
I hear you. All right, Tara, your turn. Take over. I'm going to sip my libations.
Yes. So we've got Alex Stiltskin. Okay, I got it. That's cute.
Yeah.
Keep play on words. Should we be worried about Robert Woods' lack of usage? From my perspective, no. We shouldn't be worried, but I think you need to set your expectations realistic. I think most people drafted him as a wide receiver 2, hoping that he would end up as a wide receiver 1, and your hopes may not come true. But he's still going to be very solid for where you drafted him and for what you expect. He was on the field for 77% of snaps. Cooper Kupp was significantly higher with 94. Then you had Van Jefferson a little bit lower than Robert Woods. But I don't think the lack of targets is going to be a continuing thing. I think it might have just been a game script. This was probably more of the floor for him. So, hey, this is the floor. It's not a bad floor. Take comfort in that. They're going to be higher scoring games.
I agree with you. And I'm not worried about Robert Woods at all because I want to see how this newly minted Rams offense is going to go. And I have a sneaky suspicion that next week is going to be a Robert Woods game because everyone's going to be keyed in on Cooper Kupp. So they're both incredibly good wide receivers. So I'm not worried about that at all. I agree with Terry here. I think this is game script oriented.
Yes. So next question we've got here is from iHernandez147 from Instagram. Who should he start in week 2, Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen? Lauren, who you got?
Can you start both?
Yeah.
Can that be my answer? Flip a coin, put it up on a dartboard. Okay, here's my thing. I believe that Josh Allen is going to really want to have a bounce back game because that showing in Pittsburgh was kind of gross. Were they in Pittsburgh? I can't remember where they were at. Anyway, against Pittsburgh was not pretty. That's not the Josh Allen that we know. Just errant throws did not look right. I think he's going to have a get-right game. So for me, I think I'm going to go Josh Allen here. But, I mean, really, I could go for both. But I'm making my case for Josh Allen. I think he's a stud.
I'm going to make the case for Jalen Hurts, which is crazy because I never made the case for him before. But I was one of those people that was I need to see more games before I believe it. Well, I guess, one game was enough. I believe it now.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the stats, 27 for 35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, the rush yards too. I mean, it was awesome. Yeah, it was the Falcons and every week's not the Falcons, but this wasn't just play against bad competition. This was just great play, period. So I'm in on him. He would be my start.
Yeah. I don't know how you can go wrong either way.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to another question we've got from Austin Petray from Instagram. Should he sit Najee Harris in week 2? I think this is a super quick one. No, don't sit him.
No.
Lauren.
No, don't do it. Okay, week 1 is always weird, everybody. Steelers' offensive line is garbage, but he was on the field for 100% of the snaps. Okay? It's only a matter of time before his ginormous frame falls into the end zone. So don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Volume is king in fantasy football. Don't worry about it. Start Najee Harris.
Yes. And then moving on to another one with a big name question. We've got Taylor from Twitter. Should he continue to start Aaron Rodgers? Yes, please. Please continue to start Aaron Rodgers. I understand. We talked about it a little bit. Lauren said they were on a nice little vacation, Green Bay, in the offseason. But yeah, and I think that was the case. They were focused on things that were, Aaron was out there having a good time at the Kentucky Derby, wearing funny name tags. He was having a good time. And it's going to take them a while to get back into the swing of things. But it's Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to take that long. So relax, as Aaron likes to say. He'll be good. And I mean, they play Detroit this week, and I know it's Monday night, so I know people don't like waiting for your Monday night games, but it's against Detroit, so yes, this is the perfect time to roll them out.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was going to say. There is no better way to have a get-right game than playing against the Lions. I say this as a proxy Lions fan because my husband is a Lions fan. Yes, you can feel sorry for me. At least his team is still in his city. I say from a St. Louis fan. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers has historically never had 2 bad games in a row. Never. So you can basically guarantee, so file it up with all of your DFS plays too. Aaron Rodgers must start. Do it. I love it.
All right. And then we've got one last question here from Lion King 24 Discord. Who do we think will have a better season, Ja'Marr Chase or Tee Higgins? This is a big question. I don't want to have to choose, but I feel like I'm being forced to choose. If I have to be forced to choose, I'll pick Ja'Marr now that he looks perfectly fine on the field. But when we look at the stats from last week, T did leave the field for a little bit with a quick injury, carted off issue, but that was very brief, and so it did skew the stats maybe a little bit in terms of snap counts and targets as well. But I really think this is going to be a 1A, 1B situation when it comes to the stat differential between the two of them at the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be very high, and this is why I was not very high on Tyler Boyd, because I really think that these two are just going to take off and run with it with Joe Burrow, who also looked good, by the way. So
yes.
But if I have to choose Ja'Marr, I don't want to choose.
This is a really, really difficult one. And what I really love about questions like these is that you can look at this through several different lenses. So I agree with Tara, too. I might lean a little bit more Ja'Marr Chase. But if you are the person that has both of them for whatever reason, that is okay, because you have the ability to now have 2 stud wide receivers that you can trade. So you can at least spread the love around a little bit with some other teams and then get another positional piece back. Now, which one you want to keep and which one you want to trade? I think the safety here is going to be with Tee Higgins, and then the upside will be with Ja'Marr Chase.
Yep.
That is, and I say that with no confidence whatsoever. But we're talking about 1 week of being able to look at this when I honestly thought that Tee Higgins was going to get phased out because Ja'Marr Chase was there. But lo and behold, they're both good. And now Tyler Boyd's on the back burner, which I don't like at all. So for me, this is really going to be a coin flip. But I might lean a little bit Tee Higgins. But whichever one you like the most. She likes Ja'Marr. I like T. Hey, whatever. Which one do you want to have on your bench, and which one can you get the most for in a trade situation if you have both of them starting on your bench? I love it. I also had a trade question too, and a little bit impromptu. Someone really wants Cooper Kupp on their squad, and they were willing to trade like Jamaal Williams, Brandon Ayuk, and somebody else for Cooper Kupp. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bad trade. No bueno. And that just leads me to remind everybody too, week 1 is just 1 week, all right? So remember to keep that in mind. We don't even have a lot of stats and data on defense that we can really tell you too much about upcoming matchups other than what we can look at last season and then over 1 week. So don't have overreaction theater from week 1, whether on it's the they did really well side or they did a really bad side. Remember to hold. You did your research in the offseason. You know what you're doing with your team, so don't panic quite yet. And that wraps it up for us here on Ask the Experts. Remember, if you want to get your questions seen by both of us answered, argued, debated, although we didn't do too much arguing today. It was kind of hard to disagree on those. But yeah, we're here for you. That's the whole point of this show. So make sure you're following us on our social media channels. If you ask us on a specific one, make sure you're followed, subscribed, liked, whatever it is for that particular social media. Always remember to use hashtag #AskTheExpert so that we can find those questions. We go through them, we pick them out, and we make sure we can give you the best information possible. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and click that like button if you enjoyed yourself as much as I did, because I know I had a great time. Tara, what about you? You have fun?
Fantastic. Always great with you.
Excellent. Oh, my boo. Yay. And yeah, subscribe to our channel because we have so much content that comes out every single day, all week, all season. This is what we're here for. We are here for you. I am Lauren Carpenter. You can find me at Stepmom Lauren, and I am with my girl Tara. You can find her at It's Tara Time. Come hit us up, chat us up. Not in that way, only in fantasy football, because that's how we roll. But remember, follow along with us, my friends, and good luck in week 2. Can you believe football's really here? Bye, everybody. Good luck.